Until next time, boys and girls, jet out. Now I press the button right here. This one? Yeah, okay. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back to the eastern wing of the Stinkbug Works. This morning, I think I'll talk about, stand by. This morning, I think I'll talk about the challenge. This challenge seemed to have worked out better than most other challenges I've done. And most of the other challenges I've done usually involved building something and then doing 10 laps with it. And this one was just doing 10 laps with anything you happen to have. And it seemed to work much better. So keeping that in mind, there will be another challenge. I don't know when, because I can't just keep doing these things. They'll get boring. I've got to throw them out as a once in a while thing. Somebody will say, "Hey, Jet, why don't you do this?" And I'll go, "Oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that." So somewhere along the line, I'll come up with another one. I've already got a couple of prizes. I've got that 3D printed boat that's going to get one or two runs on it, and then it's probably going to sit on a stand for a long time. And I've got that Green Cobra. I'm going to just run that thing. But I've got two other boats just like it that don't run because it's running. So if I take it and send it off to another person, then I can run the Dom or the Porsche. So we'll see on that. Today I have to go to the center of all evil in the universe and pick up some papers. You know how government people are. Your papers must be in order. And so I've got to pick up some papers down there. And this place right here, New Motors, is only 5 or 10 minutes away from the center of all evil in the universe, better known as the County Operations Center. But it's the center of all evil in the universe. If you go into a dictionary and you look up evil, and then you go down to the subheading center, there will be a picture of the County Operations Center right there. I kid you not. Would I, Dr. Jet, kid you about such a topic as the government? Anyway, I'm going to go down to New Motors because here's something you may not know. Steve offers trade-ins. And what Steve is doing is he's essentially looking at, well, I can't use this as a brand new case. I have to throw the case away. And the wires are probably no good. But, hey, I got a stator. Stators, the thin lamination, that's another little secret Steve had. He was using thinner laminations than the next guy because apparently the thinner your sheet of metal is that lamination is made from, each piece of metal makes its own magnetic field, and so your magnetic field has more mojo when there's more Joes in the mo, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, the thinner your stator plates are, the more cool your magnetic field is. You you know, good designers can control their magnetic field. They can make it go big and wide, like this one. Look at the size of the rotor in this. This is a torque monster motor, real low kV, probably in the 500 RPM per volt range. You know, it might be a couple hundred RPM, might be 600 RPM, but it's way down there. But it'll swing a huge prop. So that's not a motor I'm going to use in a boat. This was actually a helicopter motor. I have used these motors in fact, I have helicopter motors in my twin catamaran, the Micro Drifter. I have two, what are they? They're 1107 1.5 or 2Ys. I've got one more of them there. They're 4,000 RPM per volt. Definitely a 2S motor. And again, the problem is keeping it on the water because that sucker flies. So anyway, Steve takes motors on trade-ins. I have no use for this whatsoever. This, actually inside here, inside these fins, is a 15-15-2 Delta. Now that would make a good boat motor. This currently looks like it was set up to be an airplane motor. So it got cooling from air flowing over it. But Steve takes them on trade-in, or I could say, Steve, can you just pull this cover off and give me the inside motor? And this one, you know about this one. This one was my mistake. I called Lisa and I ordered an 1120 1/2 Y. And she sent me an invoice. And I looked at the invoice, but I did not see 1120 1.5 Y, 1.5 Y. In my mind, I saw 1120 1/2 Y, not 1.5 Y. I saw 1/2 Y. See the subtle difference? 1/2 Y, 1.5 Y. If you miss the anda, you make the mistake I did. I missed the anda. So I'm going to take this down. Maybe I can just give him this motor and he can rewind it for me. You know, it's only cubic dollars to do this. Actually, though, you know, I'm going to give him these motors on a trade-in. So instead of being cubic dollars, it's only going to be square dollars, which is much. A square dollar is an order of magnitude better than a cubic dollar. So, in fact, it was Steve that taught me the term cubic dollars. God, that was back in the 70s. He was talking about cubic dollars back then. But I digress. Well, boys and girls, that's my agenda for today. Now, let's see. I've got his address. I've got his address. I've got his address. I've got his address. I don't have his address or his address. So H2O and SRC, send me a message. I will put my email right. Let's see. You're going to be looking at it here. So it's going to be right in the lower corner, right there. Yeah, that's where it's going to be, right in the lower corner, right there. Until next time, boys and girls.